and you can go ahead.
Perfect. Hey, everybody. I'm Lauren Rivan, and I am just so excited to be talking to these legends of vision casters tonight. We've got just some super, super inspiring special people that are in our business, and they're going to be sharing what in the heck it actually means to cast vision. I can remember when I first started showing up to events or listening to trainings, people would talk about how important it was that leaders could cast vision and taking their people where they were going. And I had no idea what they were talking about. So I thought, man, if I'm struggling with this, surely other people are too. And obviously we're like still just cramming out this Zoom. So many people are hopping on tonight. So if you're excited, let us know in the chat. They've got some mega knowledge that they're going to drop and share with us tonight. I'm going to let each of them kind of give you a brief overview of who they are, a little bit about their story with It Works, and how vision changed their business and ultimately their life. First up, we've got Brittany Cromwell. I'm gonna pin your video here. Take it away, ma'am.
Hey, everybody. So you want me to just give a little bit about me, right? Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
Tell us about who you are and how you use vision in your business, how it changed it.
Okay, so my name is Brittany Cromwell, and I don't know how many of you guys know me, but I am a newly presidential diamond. I went presidential in February. Yay! And I started out in May of 2015. So back then I, was a food and beverage employee. I worked in hotels. I was constantly just job jumping, trying to find something that I wanted to do with my life. And I was a college dropout. Getting a substantial income was just kind of just not happening. I didn't see any ways to do that. And at a point in my life, I was 20 years old. I was on food stamps, any and all government assistance, and, constantly in the negative, constantly struggling and crying and feeling like a failure as a mom. So whenever I found this business, it was because I couldn't afford to try the wraps. And so that's when Katie asked me, well, why don't you use the wraps and make some money at the same time? And that question forever changed my life. So I'm lucky because I always had a vision for myself. I just didn't know exactly what it was. I just had a vision of, I know I'm meant to do something, and I may not know what that is, but I trusted that I will find it one day. So any opportunity that I had to make money, I did it. I used to go to Michael's Crafts and try to make jewelry. I tried to babysit, like literally anything I could get my hands on. So whenever I joined this business, it took me 9 months to go Ruby. The same month I went Ruby, I went Emerald, and then I went Diamond, all because of conference. So that's my first tip, you guys, is get you and yourself and your team to events, because that is really, really where I saw a vision unlike any other, is just being around other people that are successful. So being on this Zoom tonight and on trainings and listening to what others have done in their lives because they visioned and they saw, an amazing future for themselves, is just, going to cast vision onto your own life and what you want and being inspired by other people. And that's what I'm going to talk about. But it wasn't until the real moment when I picked my daughter up from daycare and I wasn't there to see her first words, and I was told what she said by somebody else. And that's when I decided, as I cried all the way home, that I wanted something different. So I feel like you really don't know what your vision is until you've hit a point in your life where you can't stand it anymore and you're ready for something else. That just comes naturally, I feel like, whenever you're like, okay, I've hit my heaviest weight. I'm ready to do this and lose 50 pounds and get to whatever weight, or, whatever situation that happens. So for me, that was my moment when I understood, okay, I've got to change something. And that's when I just created a why. And I feel like your vision is also tied into your why. Why you're doing things is the reason why you want to change something, which means you're creating that future for yourself almost because of your why. So, okay, your first question for me was, how do I establish my own vision? So for me, I always ask myself, what am I missing? So whenever I hit Diamond, that was a moment where I was like, oh my God, I reached my first goal. That was like the best feeling in the world. My first goal, major goal, and that was the goal that I needed to get to be able to stay home. So after that, I needed to start dreaming bigger. So I just asked myself, what am I missing in my life? But later on, it turned into how can I help others who are missing the same thing that I was missing in my life. So for me, just asking myself, what do I want? And I have no problem wanting more. That is something that my parents always, told me is you always want this, you always want this, you always want this. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that too many times we have other people around us telling us, you shouldn't want this, you already have that, or why do you need this? Or, you're not the kind of person that needs or wants that, should want that. And I feel like at the end of the day, we should want whatever we have. If you want to be extra and bougie and have this amazing life and all the problems that are on a burden on you right now, you want all of that to be gone. So why not want that and stand tall and be like, who cares? I'm going to get it. So that's how I established my vision is I just asked myself, what am I not happy with? There's so many things. And I want to see in the chat right now, what is your vision right now? Like, what are you not happy with in your life right now that you want to change? That is your vision. That's what I envision is a happier life, a bigger house, more money, giving back more, raising my children the way that I wish I was raised as a kid. So that's my vision. But it's more about like, what is going to get me there? And that's money. So my vision for my business is not just solely around getting paid and having this giant paycheck, but it's helping so many others to get me there. So number one, for you to be successful, you have to realize that comes from you helping other people become successful. So there's so much more meaning behind all of this than just the money and all the things that you're going to get. So make sure you understand that. And that's what I try to teach my team is how do I share my visions and goals with my team versus teaching them to create and have their own. So when I cast my goals and my visions, I don't expect them to be the same as my team. It's hard for me to enroll somebody and for them to right away think, oh, I want $100,000 in savings. So I work with each of my team members differently. And whenever I enroll somebody, I right away want to know their goal and their reason why they're starting. Why do they want to change their life? Why are they in this situation in the first place? And asking these questions as you're having a conversation with somebody, when you're talking to them about the business in the first place, is going to help you get a better understanding for what they want and how you can go about it. Because I've had a lot of people that are like so into the whole like, I believe in myself already. And then I sign a lot of people who are the opposite. So color personality is huge with this. So sharing my vision and my goals. Here's the thing. There's leaders and then there are those who lead. So leaders have power, but those who lead are followed, not because we have to, but because we want to. So I felt like that was really strong. And I read that in one of my leadership self-development things. And that's when I had a moment in my kitchen one day of, oh my God, I want to get my team moving. I want to get them so inspired. I want to get them making their own goals. Because how many of you guys feel like you're the one who has all this vision on your life? You know where you want to go. You're talking about it. You're posting about it. But your team can't seem to know where they're going. But they're just posting the things, how this business is helping them and how they paid for Starbucks today or whatever it is. And you can't get them to just be like, watch out, I know where I'm going, get out of my way, I'm going to do it, watch out world, this is it, this is what I'm going to do in January, this is what I'm doing in February. Like, how do you create that? How do you create that confidence? And I feel like I had a moment in my kitchen the other day where I just was like, oh my God, I know what I need to do. So I don't know how many of you guys have done this before, but it is working amazing for our team to get our team to believe in themselves, but also help their social media and their following believe in them and their message. So this is really powerful. So I kind of wrote down notes because I forget things. So I'm going to read this off. So I had a moment where I was like, okay, maybe if I make a post on my wall about what my goal is right now, and teach my team how to do that everyone's going to want to follow and do what I'm doing because it's working for me. So then again, once again, people want to lead leaders who lead and then not be with people who are like authority, or they're a manager and stuff. So like top leaders always say, don't manage your team, but lead your team. So that's exactly what I did. And I was like, okay, what do I want? And I looked at my dream board. So if you don't have a dream board, that's the first thing you got to do, is go get one done right now. And I was on a Zoom last night. I was like, I don't give a dang if you have to get a lined piece of paper and thumbtack it on your wall. Don't give me an excuse like, oh, I got to go to Michael's. I got to go get the right paper. I got to get the Sharpie. No, just put it down and put it somewhere where you can look at it every single day. That it's literally like somebody who's slapping you in the morning. That's like, wake up and get your butt to work. That is what my dream board is. And it's right over here. So I went over there and I looked at it, and, you know, thankfully going presidential, and, you know, after I have my fiance's account up too, by the way, and we retired him home from corporate America, from his stupid little cubicle, because of this business. And that was on our dream board last year. There's so many things, you guys, that this business has done for us, but something that I've always wanted is $100,000. And that was something that I have yet to cross off on my dream board, and that I've been working on, but I haven't been public about it. And I don't know why. And Ashley Mayfield honestly inspired me to go public about it, because she had her thing that she did. And I was like, okay, this is something that I've wanted for the longest time too. Why am I not telling everybody about this? So I went ahead and I made this long post, and that's when I went live immediately on my team page. And I said, we're doing this together, and it's a movement for our team. And so I'm creating a group within my team. This is a movement, and I created a hashtag, and it's my team's specific hashtag. Okay. Yep. Race to Inspire. And it's basically, we're racing to inspire, but please don't use that hashtag. Create your own team hashtag, because I don't want, you know, it's just our team. I want you and your team to have your own thing. It's kind of like a team thing. You know what I mean? I think that's really important. So I created the Race to Inspire. So we're all going on our page and being public with something that's so deep in our dream, like, and our vision that we want with our life, and posting it all together. So immediately my team was just going crazy with this. And there were others who took a while, because they really had to sit there and think it out. But I told my team, I'm pretty red, you guys. I was like, you get it done by tonight, and that's it. And then they're included in our contest for that. So we're going to be doing contests and stuff for people who hit their goals, because obviously they're working their business, they're being social or public on social media with it. So that was amazing. And they all went live. We all went live about it. We all used our hashtags. We all made our posts. And I'm like teaching my team how to cast their vision on social media. And now I'm leading by example, showing them how every single day we can talk about this specific thing and tie potential distributors into our inbox because of this. So each week we're updating, we're talking about it. I'm giving them tasks to do. And this is creating a community within our team to hit goals, and people can see them getting closer every single time. It holds them accountable. And, you know, for me, it comes naturally to just do this stuff, but I also wanted to do something structural to help my team kind of just, you know what to do if they're doing it for the first time. So we actually made it mandatory for a diamonds and above. And then, you know, if you didn't do it, you're out of our diamond and above chat. Like, we're super strict about this, and our team is loving it, you guys. So that's my advice, is use the team hashtag. And help them do that. I have girls that are now like, I've never thought to have $10,000 in my savings, but I want to do it now. And then I have other people that are like, I've never thought about paying off my student loans, but I'm ready to do it now. And it's just getting my team so excited to want to do these things. They made that post. Facebook is holding them reliable, and now they're getting to work in their business. And every time they get a fast start, they're tying it back to the hashtag in this post and their journey. And people are falling in love with following them. And there's such a bigger message behind it. Our team is focusing on the message behind their goals. So it's not just, oh, I want to pay off my debt. Now they're casting, I want to help others pay off debt. Because if I can pay off debt, I can help you pay off debt. And it's that building that confidence between the people watching them and the person. So the people watching them are going to feel so much more confident seeing that journey that they're going to know when they sign up with that person that they have confidence in them. Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh my gosh, so good. How many of you all are like thinking of hashtags for your team now? Like, what's our hashtag going to be? Maybe we're going to get shirts made. I don't know. That was so good. I'm so excited. That was so good. And how many of you all are like, maybe I've been dreaming too small when you heard her say $100,000 in savings? Because I love hearing other leaders' dreams, because it makes me go like, man, I'm playing small, God. I'm sorry I was playing small. I love that, Britt. Thank you so much for sharing. If you guys were inspired by something that she said, or there's something that made you go like, I'm doing that tonight, I want you to put it in the chat. I know she'll go back and read them. Let her know what value you brought to your business and your team. Up next, we have all these people are incredible leaders. So one of my favorite people, she played a major role in changing my business and my mindset. There's no one else like Kelsey Thornton. Take us away, girl.
Oh my gosh, you are too sweet. You're probably like setting the expectation way too high for these people. So anyways, you guys, I'm Kelsey Thornton. Our team went ambassador in March, which is super exciting. I've been in the business 4 years. And you guys, honestly, I said that I wanted to join for hair and nail money. But when I hopped into the business, like I saw a vision, and I didn't know that it was a vision at the time, but I knew that, dang, like I can make way more than just hair and nail money, because I was seeing all these people. Sorry, this like reflection on my glasses is distracting me. So for me, like I was like, dang, there's all these people that are making ridiculous amounts of money. Like, why can't that be me? And so I just hopped in, had no idea what I was doing, but I was just excited, you guys. Like that was it. I was just excited. And so for me, I always say like energy is so contagious, but energy is also part of a vision. And so what vision means to me, and Lauren, I love your question. So if I don't cover some of them, please like feel free to jump in and ask me, because because I kind of already wrote some things that I wanted to make sure that I covered, because I think that vision is everything. Like if you show me a leader that does not have vision, you're going to show me somebody who is moving backwards or at best in circles. Okay. Because the vision is going to be like the freaking keto coffee in the morning. That's what's getting you out of bed. It's going to be the spark that you need at night, right? It's going to be just that extra boost of energy that you need, because literally it leads the leaders. Okay. So if you're a leader, like oftentimes leaders need to be led too, but that vision is going to lead you. Okay. And that's why you need it. That's why it's so important. And it starts from within. So a couple of questions that like, if you're struggling, like, what is my vision? Like, where do I go? Like, I hit this goal maybe of diamond. And here's the thing. Why do people get stuck in this business? The reason people get stuck in this business is because you hit one goal, and it's not about you really mentally becoming complacent. I mean, I think that happens sometimes, but it's really about how do I set that next vision? Because here's what I think what happens when people join. They're literally surrounded by hot lava. Okay. So like they want to get out of a certain situation, which is why they join. So their whole life at this point is hot lava. So they're seeing the lava and they know they just need to hop off. Like they know. And so that vision of getting out of that situation is present every single day. So they're reminded of that situation every single day. Hey, I don't have money to pay for this. Hey, I have to pick my daughter up from daycare and hear all these things. Like their visions are reminded of them every single day. But guess what happens is after they come home or after they hit a big goal, that vision is not there anymore because they don't have it in their face. Like, yeah, it'd be nice to hit Prez, or yeah, it'd be nice to hit Ambassador. Yeah, it'd be nice to make $30,000 a month, but that's not a vision, you guys. That's a want. And Tony Robbins says like, your wants don't always get met, but your standards do. And your standard is your vision. Okay. So raise your vision, increase your vision, raise your standards. So a couple of questions you want to ask is, who do you want to be? Okay. What gets you excited? And I know that's like a super generic question, right? But when I think about creating my own vision, and some of the questions that I've asked my leaders before is, when you are thinking about walking across that stage, holding the mic as an ambassador, what do you want like people to say about you? Like in a positive way? Like, what do you want to be known for? Like, what do you want like your team to be like, oh my gosh, I love Kelsey because of X, Y, and Z. Like, what are those things to you? What is important to you? Okay. And those really are principles and values and different things like that. The second question I think you should ask yourself is, what do you want to do? So those principles and those values are important to you, but how are you going to live those out? Right? Like, what does that mean? So for me, for instance, just to give you guys an example, for me, integrity is super important. That has to be part of my vision. Making sure that I am helping people, that fulfills me. Making sure that I'm, coaching people and leading them and building connections and building relationships. So what do I have to do? And how does that vision happen? How does that play into my vision of what I want to happen? Okay. And then the last question you want to ask is, what do you want to have? What do you want to have? Like, what's important to you? Is it the big house? Is it the big car? Is it the connections with your team? Those are more of the physical things, but it can also be, what do you want to have as far as like, do you want to have longevity? Do you want to earn a bonus? Do you want to have like, that's really where you're setting your goals, right? So that's part of the vision. So another part of getting clear on this vision is understanding and getting rid of everything that really doesn't matter. Okay. So really getting rid of things that don't support your vision, that don't support your values. And sometimes like these are things that maybe make you feel good, but really aren't supporting where you want to go. Okay. And so I've heard it said that there are all three things are created like 2 times. Okay. They're first created in your brain, and then they're secondly created in reality. So single thing that we know, right? And this is like very philosophical, so just bear with me, but everything that we have, that we know, electricity was thought of before electricity actually happened. Okay. Somebody thought of becoming an ambassador before anybody was an ambassador. Okay. Somebody thought of going ambassador in 7 months before that actually happened, right? So the thing is you have to think it and visualize it and realize it before it can actually happen. So that is the mental game, right? And it's going to be that bridge between where you're at now and what future you want to create for yourself. Okay, that's really what the whole point of having a vision is it's getting you from the hot lava that you're in now to I want to be over there. But if you don't have anything you're running towards, then guess what? Of course you're going to stay in the same spot. Of course you're going to stay in the same spot because you don't have anything that you're waking up for. And a lot of times people will just be like, I don't know, like, I feel like I know what I want and I want double or I want triple, but they're not committed to actually making that happen. And that just means their vision isn't clear enough. It's not strong enough. And you know what? If you've been saying you want a promotion for months and months and months and months and months and months, and you have not made any progress, the reason is not that you're tired. You're so uninspired. Your vision is not exciting to you. Okay. So, it's really all about perspective, but here's a story that I heard somebody I don't even remember who. Everything I'm telling you comes from somebody else. I'm just regurgitating it. Okay, so I'm not taking credit for any of this. That's just what I'm going to preface it as. But the story I heard was there's 3 bricklayers who were working on the same job, and when each of them were separately asked what they were doing, they responded 3 different ways. The first person said laying bricks. The second person said building a wall. And the third person said constructing a grand cathedral. Okay. So my question is what are you doing in your business? Are you just laying bricks? Or are you building a cathedral? And which vision do you have? Right? And sometimes it can get to the point where you're like, am I freaking crazy? Because maybe you're the only one that sees your vision, but that's the point. That's when you know your vision is big enough, you guys. Sound crazy, act crazy about it. Like literally it has to sound a little bit crazy because you have to be the person that believes it first. That is part of being a leader. And so there's a couple things I wrote because I think sometimes people get some things confused. And some mistakes that I see people make when it comes to vision. And what vision is not is a numbers driven objective. Okay. So I think so many times people, and this is all like my opinion, right? But like, and I think so many people get caught up in like, a vision is me, like, and I've done this too because it's a goal, but that's not a vision, right? A vision is like, a goal of mine is to make $25,000, $30,000 a month for 4 months in a row. Okay. That's a goal. That's not a vision. Okay. Because you can't capture like helping people with a number, right? You can't capture influencing people with a number. And so it's also not going to be like a broad generic statement that everybody agrees on. Okay. So like, hey, let's go ambassador. Like that's not a vision. The vision of ambassador is saying, hey, this promotion for you, this double promotion, it's going to change your life. And I want you to tell me how it's going to change your life. And I want you to tell me what it's going to feel like when you open up your first double paycheck. And when you see the system change over, what is that going to feel like? That's the difference between a vision and a consensus statement, right? Like, okay, let's get everybody on board, but like, they don't feel that vision when you just say, hey, we're going ambassador this month. That might sound cool, but like, you're not casting that vision for people. You're just stating something that you want everybody to agree with you on. Okay. The other thing that it's not is going to be something that's stale. Okay. And this is something I see happen a lot. And one thing that I'm probably like guilty of is doing too much of changing it, but it can't be stale. You guys, visions cannot be stale. It's going to have to be ever changing. It's going to have, your strategy is going to change, different things about how you're going to accomplish your vision or what's going to happen after this vision, is foreseen, right? Those are always going to change because your accomplishments are always growing. Okay. So that vision has to be super clear, but it also can't be the same all the time. And so what is it? Like, what actually is vision? If we know it's not all of those things, like, what is it? And so for me, when I think of vision, I think of something that's like, you're painting a picture. You're telling a story. That is a vision. If you don't just say like, yeah, I want to go ambassador, that's my vision. No, that's your goal. That's your goal. What your vision is what it's going to feel like, what it's going to sound like when you have your name called, walking across that stage, what it's going to feel like when you get calls and texts and voice messages from people on your team whose lives have been forever changed because of what you accomplished. How is that going to feel? How's it going to feel when you tell your husband, don't worry about that bill? I got it. I got it. How's it going to feel when you tell your kids that you can enroll them in dance lessons? How's it going to feel? And those are the things that I really feel that is like the picture painting. That is the essence of vision casting, in my opinion, is painting that picture, not just for yourself, but for other people. Okay. And like the other people that will genuinely benefit from the vision. Okay. It also has to be specific enough to where it's going to motivate people to act, but in my opinion, it has to be kind of broad enough to where people can have their own personal touch on it. Okay. So what I mean by that is it can't be like, okay, this is what it's going to look like. This is exactly how it's going to do it. Like, you have to ask them questions, right? Like asking questions, like I just said, like, how is it going to feel? That's allowing them to have their own personal touch on it. But it's broad enough for that, but it's not so specific that it's your plan and not anybody else's. Okay. And it has to be something that you look forward to. It has to be something that you're excited about. Okay. If it is not something you're excited about, it's way too small. Okay. And here's what I will say is having something like a goal is great. I got to the point, and I'm just going to be vulnerable with you guys. I got to the point when I was a triple diamond, I sat there for a year and a half and I was not motivated by presidential anymore. Like I was just flat out not motivated by, it was like I was numb to the word freaking presidential because I'd sat there and thought about presidential for so long. But I had to start thinking of what else was a part of my vision that got me excited, because presidential didn't get me excited. But I also knew that by me promoting to presidential, what I got excited about was my team's promotions. What I got excited about was how it was going to feel to have people sitting in VIP with me. What I got excited about was how that income, I was shifted from what that income was going to do for me, but what was that income going to do for the people that I was able to touch with that income by me giving back to people, by me, just focusing and like bringing people into this business. Like instead of focusing on me, and focusing on a bigger picture, right? And so often we focus so much of our attention on our dreams, and we focus too little on our team. Okay? Because part of your vision has to include your team. It has to. Like, you don't have a vision of promoting or living the dream life that you want without your team. So you can't have a vision that doesn't include them, because the truth is that if you build the right team, the dreams are going to take care of itself. The dreams will take care of itself. And so you have to make sure your motives are right for growing your team, because if you try to gather that team with the wrong motives and for your own benefit, it will always crumble. Okay. Here's some things that I want to tell you on how I would personally communicate the vision. Okay. The first thing is that you have to be committed personally. Like, you have to be committed personally. Like, if you are not committed personally to the vision, ain't nobody else going to be committed. Okay. That's just very common sense. The other thing is you have to know your vision so well that you know how it will benefit and affect your team. Okay. So you can't, like I said, you have to involve your team in your vision. So that has to include like you reaching out to people. And you know what, you guys, it might not be the rank. It might be an income. It might not be an income, but it might be a vision of what impact that person is going to have on everybody else on your team. Okay. And what you see for them. And so it really is just calling people out for what you see in them. How many times have we signed up a new distributor, you guys, and we don't cast any vision for them? We're signing them up, we're training, we're telling post, message, follow up, add to your network, do some self-development. All right, I did your training. Great. But none of that is vision casting. None of that is saying, oh my gosh, like seriously, I am so excited for you. I want to know how this is going to change your family. I want to know what would $1,000 do for you? If you stayed committed to this business for a year, what would your life look like a year from now? Asking them those questions, you guys, and saying like, oh my gosh, girl, look, you want to know what we do when we message people? If you message people, we vision cast for them, because we say, oh my gosh, girl, I think you would be so awesome at this business. That's a vision. That's something that you're seeing in them, that you're vision casting for them. And then they join our team, and we're pissed that they don't do anything. Why are they doing anything? Because they've never had somebody cast a vision for them. Cast that vision for them. Get them something to be excited about. You guys, the example of this and how you can see this in every day. And it was so funny because that we're doing the Zoom today, because I took a golf lesson today, right? And you guys, I'm like not very good at golf. I'm somewhat athletic, but I suck at golf. And this guy who was doing my lesson, he literally was like, would you believe it if I told you in 2 years you could win the club championship? And I was like, at our country club, and I was like, yeah. But like, he casted that vision for me. Like, that's something that I probably would have even thought about. But guess what? That's what he did, was cast that vision for me. When I went Ruby, I had 4,000 in volume, you guys. Aaron Tweed told me, pull out your diamond chart. I was like, I just went Ruby, bro. I'm good. I earned $1,000 bonus. Like, I'm good. Like, what are you talking about, my diamond chart? Isn't emerald even the next thing? She's like, yeah, pull out your diamond chart. And I was like, from 12 people away from even being charted for diamond. Okay. And she was like, no, like, you're going to hit diamond. Like, diamond is what's next for you. That is the vision that she casted for me. Like, she did, like, I don't know if she knew it was vision. I don't know, whatever. It was just belief, instilling that belief in me. And then the more she said it to me, the more I believed it. So I just kept going. And my volume jumped from 4,000 to 17,000 in 1 month. I have no idea how that happened, but I'm going to tell you it was because partly just because she told me I could do it. If she had never instilled that belief or that vision in me, I would have never even had a diamond chart out. I would have been looking at emerald. And so are we doing that for our new distributors? Are we doing that for the person who just went diamond? Did we already tell them to have a double chart out? Did we tell them how much we believe that they can go double and when we believe they can go double? All of you guys on here have hit most of you, a diamond and above promotion. We don't need to stop leading our teams or leading ourselves at diamond and above. Okay? You have to lead. We never been there. Like, when I was going ambassador, I was like, Erin, just tell me I can do it. I just need you to tell me I can do it. When I still needed the vision. I still needed somebody to pour that vision into me. And so never underestimate the power of pouring that belief into somebody and pouring that vision into somebody, because when you do that, something happens on the inside of them, because there's going to be those moments of doubt. But if somebody else told you that you're going to be a rock star at this, then you're going to be a rock star at this. Okay. So as a leader, what you have to do, you have to see further than other people see. You have to see more than other people see, and you have to see before other people see it. Okay? You're not a leader if you see it at the same time. You have to see it before. You have to get people thinking bigger, dreaming bigger, all of that. And so when you do that, you're in the more, let me tell you this, the greater the vision, the more winners you're going to attract. Okay. Because if you have a big vision, you have to have winners. And so if you're casting a big vision, big people are going to want to come. And the more challenging the vision, the harder people are going to have to fight for it. And the more they're going to want to participate. Because people want to be a part of something great. They don't want to be a part of something small. So cast the vision and cast it big. And believe in it. If it doesn't excite you, it's not a vision for you. That's for somebody else. What did God put on the inside of you? What do you desire? Don't ever apologize for desiring more. That's something I had to get over, was like realizing that if I desire something that's good, that comes from God. And I should never feel bad about wanting more or doing more. Okay, Lauren, cut me off because I think I went over my time. I don't even know. I wasn't paying attention.
No, it was so good though. I'm like writing everything. You guys, oh my gosh, see it first, believe bigger. I have just pages of notes. It was so dang good. Thank you so much, Kelty. You guys share something with Kelty in the chat that you got out of that you're going to implement with your team immediately. I saw people calling out like different visions for their team this month, how they're going to talk to their teams differently immediately. So share that. I know she's going to come back and read it. Let her know how much you value her time away from her team, from her family, pouring into all of us. Next, big shout out to Tamara. I hope I'm saying it right, not Tamara. Tamara. Either way, Higgins, Tamara, if you're on here, she is filling in for us tonight from Katie Bevington. She couldn't make it, but she was in the Push to Presidential's chat with me and talked about how she uses vision to attract different types of personalities and enrollments in her business, kind of like Kelty was talking about when we message people. So if you are here, Sunshine, unmute yourself and let me find your video.
I am here. Now you're muted.
My bad. Take it away.
All right, guys. So first of all, I'm insanely pumped to be here and to have the opportunity just to kind of share this with you guys, simply because the timing couldn't have been any more perfect for that message having popped through saying that you just wanted somebody to speak tonight. And it just really kind of drives home for me that the work that I've been doing on myself and my business is exactly what I need to be doing, when I need to be doing it, and how I need to be doing it. So I am Tamara Higgins. I am a double diamond distributor. I just started in the business in July. I started July 17th, and just kind of a quick idea of my business. In July, I went executive. August, my 2.0, my husband's account went executive. September, I went Ruby. October, I went Ruby. I went Emerald. 2.0 went Ruby. And October 2.0 went Ruby. I went Emerald. November 2.0 went Emerald, then Diamond for me. So a lot of double promoting that happened. It was crazy. It was fast. This all ties into my whole purpose of casting vision. So bear with me. And then I went through, 3 months in my business where I didn't promote at all. And then I went double diamond in March, and my 2.0 went diamond. Okay. So I first of all just have to say, Kelsey, I don't understand why I haven't already known you in this life. Because out of the 5 pages of notes I have sitting in front of me right now, you said about half of them, really. So I just kind of want to go back to a couple of the things that you said, because so important. So I'm just kind of going to throw in sort of my spin on things. So the first one was the example that Kelsey just gave, where it said, if you asked 3, bricklayers, what it is that they're doing while they're laying bricks. And the first one says, I'm laying bricks, right? Pointing out the obvious. I'm laying bricks. The next person says, I'm building a wall. Okay, so he's pointing out the next most obvious thing, right? And then the last guy says, I'm building this beautiful cathedral, right? The guy who's pointing out that he's building the cathedral, right? He's viewing each brick that's laid as one of the goals that are set before him to get to the beautiful cathedral. Like, that's why he's not focused on the brick. He's not focused on the wall. He's focused on the cathedral, because that brick is just the smallest portion of that vision. That wall is just the smallest portion of that vision. And then every fixture and every, light switch and every tiny little detail, right, is just another piece of that vision, until you see this beautiful, huge cathedral, right? And so I just really wanted to touch on that, because that's exactly how I view that. When I think about that statement, and if you were to ask people, guys, how you respond to those questions when people are talking to you about the business, when people are asking you, why do you do what you do? How are you so excited about this? And why are you always so damn happy? I get that all the time, especially at the full-time Monday to Friday that I just quit because if it works. I'm just going to throw that in there. But because of that, guys, people saying things like, why are you so happy? And why are you so that, rather than, and this is kind of a way that you can kind of start building your vision and building the vision for your team and for yourself. Okay. When people are saying things like, why are you so excited about it? Or how are you so excited about it? Or what do you do? Simple responses like, I sell health and wellness products. Is that what you do? Is that what you really see what you do as a networks distributor? Or is it so much more than that, right? Are you out there helping people change their lives? Are you helping people retire from full-time, corporate jobs? Are you what are you doing, right? Rather than the short form answer of what do you do? Well, I sell health and wellness products. Okay, good. They could have figured that out by looking at one of your product posts. What are you actually doing? And why are you doing it? Where are you coming from, right? So anyways, I just wanted to speak on that super quick. The next thing that Kelsey touched on, that's huge for me. There's 2 key factors, okay, in casting vision, 2 major factors. And if you don't have the first one right, you're lost, friend, you're lost, okay? There's 2 factors. It's your mind first, okay? Before anything physical or any of that action can take place, the mind's got to be there. And again, like Kelsey was saying, you can cast a vision for yourself all you want. Okay. I can sit there and I can dream and I can imagine of all of the wonderful things in this life that I'm going to have, that this business is going to provide for me. And that's fantastic. And that might attract 5 people, because that's what gets those items that I'm dreaming of, those items that are my vision, connect with them, because those are the same 5 items that they want in life. Okay. Or the same 10 items or 15 items, and you might reach 5 people. But let me tell you something, guys, when your vision, okay, when you're sharing your vision with your team, and by sharing your vision with them, okay, and helping them build their vision, and like Kelsey said, asking crucial questions, What is it that you want? What are you going for? Right? And not accepting as a leader, not accepting the answer, well, I just want to make $500. But do you? Right? Like, is that really what you want? Are you really just looking for $500? Right? Or what's behind that what does that $500 mean to you? Right? You actually, and again, Kelsey said it, took the words like out of my mouth, paint the picture, you know? And on top of painting the picture, I want you to smell the flowers that you see in the picture. I want you to hear the water that you see in the picture. I want you to taste whatever food related items are in that picture. Okay. If you have food related items in that picture, okay, whatever it is, you got to take it above and beyond seeing it. Okay. You even got to take it above and beyond believing it. Okay. You have to live it. You got to do in the today what you're going to do in the year from now, in the 6 months from now, what is going to get you there. And that vision, if you don't have a solid, clear vision, and if you're not able to cast that vision with your team and for your team, right? Because as leaders, when you're first starting out, like, you have to cast the vision for them. Just like Kelsey said, like, somebody saying, you're going to be a diamond, Kelsey. And Kelsey's like, what? Me? Like, dude, I just met Ruby. And what's your point? You're going to go diamond. Like, this is how you're going to get, like, this is what we're going to do, right? What do you need? How are we doing this? Like, you know, and taking that person, when we say, like, you know, in this business, we want to link arms, that's exactly what you want to do. Like, you literally need to walk the person through the picture that you can so clearly, as their leader, paint in your own mind. And you got to hand them that paintbrush and tell them to start. Just start painting. That's all it is when casting a vision. Like, you just have to. And maybe you need to say to them, like, can you see yourself doing this? Can you see yourself doing that? Can you see yourself having this? Having freedom of time, having the money and not needing to worry about the bills, having, you know, time with your family. Can you see those things? You know, and then you get people saying, you know what, like, yeah, I can. Like, that would be amazing. And this is why, right? So anyways, sorry guys, like, insanely fired up. So I want to bring this back to, for me, what the biggest piece is in terms of casting vision. Okay. And that's recognizing and understanding, where does vision even come from? Okay. It comes from God. Like, he knows what that vision is. Okay. He knows what that vision is. He knows your smallest desires, your biggest desires, you know, all of those tiny little niches and all those little things that sometimes we don't even know about ourselves, right? He knows that. And when you are taking, I'm actually going to go back to like a statement. I got to find my statement. Oh, there was like a podcast that was a pastor that was speaking, and he was actually talking about casting vision for his church specifically. But he says, God's vision requires sacrifice and work. When you see yourself as a visionary, when you see yourself as someone who is going to share your vision, and then he even takes it a step further and says, if you want to impose, okay, what your visions are, what your dreams are, what all of those sorts of things are, right? At the risk of seeming arrogant, at the risk of, you know, any of those types of things, saying, I'm going to have this because I deserve this, because I am worthy, because I am. He said, you better first check that you are willing to do what God has given you the ability to do. And that is sacrifice and work for it, because none of that is coming. It doesn't just come. Okay. Our faith and our belief in God, that doesn't just come. How many of you, okay, Christian or otherwise, or you know what I mean, believe in God, don't believe in God, okay, how many of you have had moments in your life where you questioned, is there a God? Okay, there's a reason why you come back to him. Okay, like, things are not just handed to you. Okay, opportunity is presented, gifts are given, things are aligned for you, but it's up to you to make that sacrifice, put that work in, and grab hold of the vision that he has, okay, key piece, the vision that he has, and make it your own, right? And run with that and believe it and live in it. Like, that's where you got to be at. Okay. So the last piece, because I don't want to like bring everybody like insanely over, and I'm so pumped to hear Chad, it's ridiculous, is, okay, kind of my top tips for casting vision. And I wrote them down because I don't want to stumble over my words. So think, my first tip, think when you need to figure out what your vision is, or if you're a leader who's trying to help your team figure out what their vision is, right? Or have them see your vision and bring that together as a collective. Think, read, study, and pray. Those are the first 4 in step 1. Think, read, study, and pray. Okay? I'm not talking about thinking, reading, and studying like, what's the best way to be successful? What's the best way to make money quick? Whatever. What I'm talking about is what you're thinking about, reading and studying about and praying about is, where was I in my business yesterday? Where was I a week ago? Where am I today? Okay, where am I going to be next week? And where do I want to be in that year from now? Right? What does that vision look like? That's what you're going to study. That's what you're thinking on. That's what you're reading, because you should be writing it down. Okay, or pictures, however it is, but you need to have that visual. Okay, and that's what you want to study, and that's what you want to pray on. Okay, or that's step 1. Step 2, ask yourself honestly. Okay, and I say honestly because we're all real good at saying like, oh yeah, I took a look at that. Okay, I don't know if Jackie is still on here, but I gotta call her out right now, just simply because this was where I learned this lesson, and this is where this became so huge in terms of casting my vision. Okay, ask yourself honestly, what needs to be done that isn't being done? What needs to be done that isn't being done? Okay, that you have to honestly take a look at that. And then when you take a look at what you're doing now versus what needs to be done, again, we're going back to that sacrifice, that work. Okay, we're given tools and gifts and everything that we need, the faith, the belief, like the ability to do everything because God gave it to us. Now take an honest look at what you're doing, and are you utilizing it? Right? Take a good hard look at it. And then what can you do to change that? Make yourself unique, make yourself stand out so that other people, okay, see the vision right beside you. They can see it just as clear as you can, even if it's not theirs, right? The next one is write out scripture, okay? Actually write it out. Find a few scripts from the Bible, okay? You don't own a Bible? Go to Google, all right? Jesus is everywhere, okay? Go and write out a couple scriptures, okay? Something that speaks to you, something that you feel like is pointing you in the direction of where Jeremiah 29:11 is one of my favorites. Ashley, I adore you too, just like I adore Kelsey. But what I want you guys to do is take a look at that scripture. And guys, if scripture is not your thing, okay, look for it in whatever medium it is that works for you, okay? But you need to find something that is in writing. Daily affirmations, something, okay? You can even write them yourself, but put them in writing, have them in front of your face, and affirm that on a daily basis, okay? Believe on those. Focus on those, okay? The next one is record your vision, okay? So you want to share it loud and proud. This was said by Brittany at the beginning, right? Like sometimes you just need to step outside of that, like, I don't want to sound arrogant. I don't want to sound conceited. I don't want to sound, because that's what I often hear from people on my team, right? Is, well, I don't want to sound arrogant. I don't want to sound like this. I don't want to sound like that. I don't want to sound, you know what? Okay. You're not being arrogant. You are speaking to life what is going to happen for you. You are affirming what's going to happen to you. Has nothing to do with arrogance. Okay. You are only arrogant if you're not willing to work for it. If you're willing to put in that work, there's no arrogance there. You've earned it. Like, that's not arrogance. That's earning something. That's working for something. Okay. And then the last piece that I'm going to leave you guys with, okay, really is when you are thinking about your vision, okay, we always tell people, especially coming into this business, you know, dream big, dream big. Don't live inside the box. Okay. You have to think about your vision like a projector. Okay, like an old school projector. If you stuck a projector in a box, how far would the light reflect? It wouldn't. It would make it this far from the lens of the projector to the edge of the box, right? However much space that had, an inch, maybe 2, depends on the size of the box. Okay, what you need to walk away from this Zoom, whether it might be another Zoom, maybe this Zoom is in addition to something else that's got you fired up, whatever the case might be, okay? Take your damn projector out of the box. Take it out of the box and plug it in. Like, no light can be shed when you exist in a box. You cannot exist in a box and cast a vision. You can't, you know, you can't stand in one place. You cannot stand still and expect that someone else is going to see that light, because they're not. Okay. You want to reflect like a lighthouse. You want people to see you through the fog. You want people to be attracted to that light. You want the boats out on the ocean to be looking for you specifically, right? That's what you're going for. So anyhow, that's what I want to leave you guys with. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Everybody's like writing down your name right now.
I
We're
haven't
gonna have some vision. There's some vision cast in the chat that you're going Black Diamond.
Oh.
Holy moly. So good. So good. The
So
chat
pumped for Chad. Bring it.
Go back and reread that. You guys, let her know what you learned, what you're going to implement in your business, what your vision is now, because I think everyone's is growing in this moment. And I pray that this is a moment that when we all connect at conference and we embrace in a hug, that every single one of us is going to say, you remember that night? It changed my life. I pray that over every single one of you, and it will if you let it. So let these words soak in and put them to work. Put them to work. Last but not least, you guys, who is pumped up to hear from freaking Chad Kneller? Am I allowed to say freaking? Because I'm going to. Chad, I'm so excited to have you on here. You, when I saw you commented that you would share, I kind of freaked out for a minute. My husband and I have watched videos that you and Doreeb shared from the beginning of our journey with It Works, and you're absolutely someone that we've learned from a long time, but never firsthand. So I know so many people are eager and anxious to hear from you tonight. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on. Unmute yourself and let's shut it down.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you so much for doing this. I mean, this was your vision, right? You said, hey, I want to do this about vision. Somebody had to step up and have that idea, and that was you. So congratulations on that. And all the people that spoke tonight, Brittany and Kelsey and Tamara, just you three ladies killed it. You're doing amazing things, and your teams are lucky to have you. And for the 267 that are still on here, I know we've dwindled down a little bit, but I'm excited you guys are here, and hope you've already gotten some great things out of this. And I'm going to just share a few things that are on my heart too. So the first thing is I want you to just kind of understand who you are and where you are, because, you know, I've been in 4 other companies before It Works from the early 90s when I first learned about the idea of network marketing. It's funny because I had a friend I worked with at McDonald's when I was 16, and I'd gone away into the military. And when I came back, she'd gotten married and, you know, had a new baby and invited me over to their house. And it was kind of this whole setup, right? So they could give me the pitch. And so the way they pitched me was they showed me a magazine, and it had a bunch of houses, and they said, which house do you want? And I found one that I thought looked pretty cool. And then they gave me a magazine of boats and a magazine. This was the old way to recruit people. And a magazine of cars. So now I had a boat, a car, and a house. And they're like, okay, how are you going to get that stuff? And I was like, probably not, because in my mind, I had to be a doctor or lawyer to afford those things. And I wasn't going to be a doctor or lawyer. So therefore I was out. And I had no idea that a regular person like me could have a crazy, awesome life where we could do anything and have anything. And so he introduced me to a company. And, you know, this was back in like 1994, and I jumped right in and expected every single person, of course, that I mentioned it to would jump right in. And, you know, that wasn't the case. And so, but the seed that was planted in that company, I got to go to my first convention, and I heard some crazy, awesome people that, you know, had been where I was and had made it. And so that company didn't work out. The next time I had a friend, that company didn't work out. And by the time I got to the 4th company, I was married, and Jeree said, I don't think you need to do this anymore, because I was full-time military and I'm putting in all those hours, and I'm coming home and I'm trying to email and text, and, you know, and it just, there was really no time for the family. So I went to counseling and decided to set the dream on the shelf. So you can imagine my excitement when a friend of hers had her try the wrap, And she said, if we like the products, it's network marketing and there's a business opportunity attached. So I was like, okay. And so we were customers for like a week, and we jumped in Emerald first month, Diamond second month. And then we kind of hung out at Diamond because we really only wanted at 500 or so, and we were making a couple thousand at Diamond. I had to deploy to Afghanistan. So we just sat at Diamond until we went to conference. And so at conference, my wife was a Diamond, and I'd actually fallen from Emerald to executive because I made a silly mathematical error by like 50 BV. And so I was an executive. So we're sitting there, and we didn't know if this was it. I was kind of open to leaving the military. By now I was an Army officer. So we were making maybe 80,000 a year and on our way to finally get to six figures, which was my vision, right? For our family from the beginning of whenever we got married was six figures, moving towards that. And so went to our first conference, and I remember just, it was Tyson and Shelby Bowman for me. I heard their story, and it was a download of faith, belief. And I thought if they did it, I can do it too, because Tyson was in the military. And I just had that connection. All of you have probably seen somebody on a Zoom or at an event, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's the person that gave you belief or hope. And if you haven't found them yet, stick around long enough and you'll run into that person that will give you that faith in yourself, that hope, just the knowing in your knower that it's possible for not just for those other people, but for you too. And so for me, it was them. And I remember I started a journal, and I said, it was called, I still have it. It's all beat up. But basically, I named the journal Journey. And remember, we're Diamond. I named it Journey to Ambassador and $50,000 a year in 18 months. That was the title of the journal. And I journaled in it, and we ran hard. And we actually had that happen in 15 months. So 3 months earlier than we actually wrote down. So, of course, a lot of stuff happened, before that. I could go way, way back. We don't have time for that tonight. I could talk to you about the 90s and the trouble I got into and wanting to be a rock star, and how far I fell from faith. And when Dree and I met each other, how we kind of, we kind of saved each other's lives. And then our first son coming into the world just was even a better blessing for us at the time. And so all that stuff. But when we got into this, here's what I want you to understand. So knowing and seeing other companies out there and other options, whenever we really got going with it, works our first full year, we made multiple six figures, and we've made more than that since. Okay, we've had years of over 500,000, between 300 and 500 most of the time. But, and I'm not saying that to impress you. I just want to impress upon you what's possible, because I was grinding away in the military, and I would have eventually got to six figures. But with It Works, the power of our compensation plan is so powerful, and now Dree has her spot, and I have my spot, and then our 2.0, Dree's 2.0 spot is up to triple. So we're working on that double ambassador. So working on presidential right now. But the vision is to do all kinds of crazy, awesome things. So the first thing I want you to understand is Lighthouse. Okay. When you're in this company and you're on this Zoom, so I'm going to assume you guys on here are Diamond and above. So you've had a taste. You've got a taste of what's possible, right? And we have a girl, I remember she went Diamond. She was making about average pay. And then she had a couple more people she'd recruited, did real well. She was up to like 5,500 as a Diamond, and she just promoted to double Diamond, and now her check jumped to like, I don't know, it's like 8,600 I think today. She said she got paid as a double Diamond. And so she's had the taste. She's not happy. She's like, oh my gosh, 10,000's right there now, right? She's like, wow, it went from 2 to 5 to 8. And so she just got the bug, and you're all going to get the bug too. So you're like a lighthouse, and the more you get, the more clarity you get on your vision, and the more dialed in you get. It's like the brighter your light gets. So there's, the more successful you become, the easier it is to become more successful, if that makes sense, because you just have a different type of confidence when you get there. And so it's a process. And I know a few conferences ago, Mark talked about the process, and he talked about how if you're going to be an amazing piano player, you don't just sit down and read music and play with both hands and look at the audience and all that at the same time, right? It doesn't happen like that. You have to start with one finger poking the notes and understand what their names are, and then you add another finger, maybe you're playing chopsticks, and then you have one hand going and two hands going, and all this stuff happens. And the vision is going to come from the clarity of the vision. It's going to come through a lot of prayer. A friend of mine, he said, put a sticky note on your refrigerator that says, if I could do anything for God, it would be, and fill in the blank, and just think about that and pray about that. I promise none of you will ever get to your old age and be like, man, I wish I would have prayed less, right? It's going to be like, I wish I would have watched less TV, maybe. I wish I would have wasted less time. But you're never going to say, I wish I would have prayed less. Okay, so let me give you a little exercise that you guys can all do. If you're like, I don't know what my vision is, I don't know. This will help you get on the right track, okay? So I got this out of the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is an awesome book. One of the habits is begin with the end in mind. So we're going to talk about the end. If you guys haven't been told yet, I'm going to break the news to you that every single one of us on here, probably the next 120 years is going to die. You guys agree with that? Right? 120 years or so. Maybe a couple of, well, no, none of you are going to go more than 120 more years. I'm sorry to break the bad news, but 120 more years. So here's what I want you to think about. Let's say 100 years from now, okay? 100 years from now, you pull into the funeral home and you walk in and there you see your parents. I don't know how they're still alive. Just work with me here. You see your parents there. You see your spouse. You see your children. You see your peers. You see your team. You see your best friends, just people over the years that you've had an amazing relationship with, okay? And you go and you look in the casket, and there you are. So basically what's cool is this is your funeral, but you get to sit in the back and watch it, okay? So, and this is a really important exercise. So when you're sitting back in the back and watching it, and you see your mom and dad walk up, what are they gonna say about you in their 3 to 5 minutes? And then when your kids go up there one by one, what are they going to say about mom? What are they going to remember? What deposit did you leave with them over the 18, 20 years that you had them in your home? What are they going to say about you? What's your team going to say about you? What are your friends going to say about you? See, when you get clear on that, are there going to be 10 people at your funeral, or are there going to be 10,000 people at your funeral? Because see, today you can take action and you can get such great clarity on that you can determine exactly what's going to happen. You can be the one that there's a line out the door down the street. They have to put loudspeakers outside because there's not a building in town big enough to fit all the people whose lives you've touched and lives you've impacted. I went to this, I wasn't going to go here, but I guess I'm going to go here. So this guy, his name's Alan Winters. Okay, and he helped found this mission organization, and he was known as the General of Unity in Atlanta, Georgia, because he was great at taking different denominations together and like going on these missions trips. Okay, so when he was 56 years old, he was on his way to Colombia, and he had a brain aneurysm and complications getting him back to the States. And when they finally got him back to the States, he ended up passing away. So his funeral was like on a Wednesday afternoon, right? And I drove to Atlanta, Georgia, because I'd gone on a missions trip. To me, he was like a real life Indiana Jones, super cool guy. So I go there, and they said, first of all, they said he'd been on over 400 missions trips, and there was probably 5,000 people on a Wednesday afternoon at this guy's funeral, right? They were like simulcasting people from other countries in, and this was a true celebration. Like I've never been to anything like this. This was a celebration of this guy's life. They said, stand up if you've been on a missions trip with him, and there was like 2,000 plus people who he brought on a trip. We've gone on over 400 trips in 56 years, which is just mind-boggling, right? But at the end, what really blew my mind was his son got up and spoke, and his son was like, Dad ran his race so well that he beat us all to the finish line. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is just awesome. And so at the end, everyone was like, kind of just upset because, he passed, and the family like basically was standing up front in a line, and they were there was lines to each family member, and they were consoling every single person in the audience, which was just crazy. So ultimately, when you're thinking vision, because, It Works, we talk a lot about success, and we talk a lot about, getting things and helping other people get things. But I think some of the best value that we all find along the way in this company is the relationships, and not just the relationships, but the bondage and the baggage and the stuff that we are able to identify and let go. Right? You all know when we were born, we came into the world the same. We were naked and stupid, right? All of us. We were naked and stupid. And then along the way, some people whispered some things in our ears, some lies that we believed. And, we became tainted, right? From some of the people who had great intentions even, but because they were broken people looking at us through their broken filter, they did things too. So that's why, you know, one of my favorite verses is Proverbs 18:21, power of life and death in the tongue. So make sure that within your organization and your team and your family, you're always building, using your power to build people and not tear people down. It's so important that we're always doing that. So I want to go to my favorite quote in the whole world. This is such a good, it's my favorite. I've got hundreds and hundreds of quotes. I love, basically I found everyone who John Maxwell studied, which is like John Wooden and Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn. And I've studied for like the last 10 years. I've been studying these people. I'm studying John Maxwell, trying to read all his books now. I actually get to go with Joel Dunn in a couple weeks, and Tay and Carrie Young and a few other people, and go be there when John is going to come out with his first network marketing book ever. He's written 100 books. He's never done a network marketing book. This is going to be his first of at least probably 3 network marketing books, and it's going to be out soon. And it's going to be awesome because we're going to be able to get hundreds of those and, you know, pass them around and study them and learn them. And Joel and Stephanie were one of 20 people that were basically selected from across the whole industry to help like John understand. So, you know, what they're doing with John Maxwell is just insane, and it's awesome. So we get to go in a couple weeks and kind of see how that's going. But just studying people like that. And so the founder really of personal development, his name's Paul J. Meyer, and he came out with 25 series. He made like billions of dollars in the personal development industry. His name's Paul J. Meyer. But my favorite quote in the world is his. And I want to kind of break it down, because if you grab onto this quote and you live by this quote and you hold on to it, you cannot go wrong. Okay. And I'm going to kind of close out with the kind of the work part. All right. So Paul J. Meyer says, whatever. Okay. So whatever, you know, there's no limitations to the word whatever, right? It's not like, well, I can't do this and this, and I can do this and this, but I can't do that and that, or maybe diamonds for me, but triple and above, that's not for me. So first of all, this says whatever you vividly imagine. Okay, that's the clarity piece. You know, when I looked up the definition of vision, it says the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. Okay, imagination or wisdom. So here's the quote. Whatever you vividly imagine. So that's clarity. Ardently desire, right? So desire, I mean, that speaks to the passion that you have for something. You want it like you want air. A lot of people want a lot of things, right? We want the new car, but do you want it as bad as you want air? See what I'm saying? We want to lose 20 pounds. Well, when you want it as bad as you want air, you'll lose 20 pounds. So you have to have that desire, that strong, that ardent desire. So whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe. Okay, so the belief, that's the faith piece. And it has to be unwavering, right? And that's a process. That's a process, because you might be like I used to be, where you have faith and you feel it in the moment because you're at conference or you're on a Zoom like this. And then 3 days later, someone says, boo, or your husband or your cousin says, oh, I heard so-and-so left the company, and you're like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. But you doubt, right? So you have to have that unwavering faith. James 1:3 or something like that talks about how you have to have strong faith. Okay, so whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon, right? You have to generate that enthusiasm. That's what's attractive. Boring and I think Kelsey was talking about, you can't be boring. You can't have a vision and just kind of la-di-da-di, you know, ho-hum, let it slide, we'll get there eventually kind of vision. It has to be like heat-seeking missile. Like I'm heading to that white-hot vision, like running towards that vision. So the rest of it, whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass. It must. Okay, it's like when you have a do or die attitude, right? And you guys know what I'm talking about, right? There's like a in, out. You guys have those people on your team, right? They're like, woo, for beginning of the month, I got my goals. And then they're like killing it like the first 5 days. And then you're like, whoa, are they sick? Where'd they go? You know, they disappeared again. And you're like, oh, they disappeared last month around the 6th. Those are people that you got to grab them, and you got to look them in the face and speak some life into them and understand that, okay, I'll run, I'll jog, I'll walk, but I can't stand still. If you're standing still, that's your choice. Let me know when you're ready to jog, run or walk, because we can't stand still for anybody. And that's just the way it has to be. So it's really the casting vision piece. It's just really, it's helping people clearly see the future, right? It's helping them. It's being with them and reaching out and saying, if you do this, here's what is inevitable. Your success is going to be inevitable if you stick to the plan. And here's why, because I did it, and she did it, and she did it, and she did it. Yeah, I've been in 7 years. Yeah, we went ambassador back in 2000, whatever. But guess what? There was 11 more that did last month. There was 16 or however, I'm losing track of numbers. But there's a lot, right? There's a lot of people going ambassador still today. There's new products coming out. The company is doing amazing. They're growing like they've never grown before during this time of year. So that is all so good. So one thing that I think is important, as when you have your vision, you have to assess if you're on track, right? You have to assess if you're getting to where you want to go. So Dave Ramsey has a really, really good formula for what he calls unstoppable momentum. Okay. Now I want you to understand, Dave Ramsey be the first one to tell you that to be really, really good in something, to be what people would consider you're a professional, you're an expert, it takes about 10,000 hours. Okay. So what's cool about it works is you can get your 10,000 hours done in a few years, or you can take, you can take 10 years to get 10,000 hours done. The bottom line is most of the time it's going to take about 10,000 hours just to get your flow and understand it. So be in it for the long haul. Be all in for the long haul. But what Dave Ramsey says to create unstoppable momentum is, he says, focused intensity over time multiplied by God equals unstoppable momentum. So focused intensity, that's the urgency, right? You got to be intense. You got to be enthusiastic. You got to be like, and that's why the company forces us to have urgency, right? They're like $49, one more day. Oh wait, one more day. And you're like, yeah, I love these little like 72 hours, because you only have 72 hours. It's like, you can't wait till Friday to follow up. You got to follow up right now with 72 hours. So I love the company's figuring that out. They're so motivated. What I love about this company in particular is they sit around brainstorming how people can win more. Like, we're not a publicly traded company, so there's not like some sort of board that the company has to go to and say, well, we only made this many millions this year. And they're like, well, our stockholders want us to make more money. No, Mark's like, last year we only had 700 people who made six figures. Let's figure out how we can have 1,000 this year. Like, that's what they're thinking about. And those are just numbers I made up. So not to say there's that many or whatever, but they're thinking about how can more people win. And we see it happen all the times. It's like, let's put a bunch of distributors in. Okay, now let's do something to get them all fast start qualified, right? So we see that the company is constantly doing that, which is so, so incredible. So as far as getting back to these questions, I just want to really touch on the last two. One was, what do I do if I lack belief in my vision? The two biggest things you can do is personal development and taking action. And it doesn't really matter even what action, because in the action, you'll build the faith. You'll build the confidence. And so getting around it, when you get around people who are visionaries and you get to see it unfold in their life, that's why I love social media and I love YouTube channels, because you can literally follow somebody and go, wow, go back and hear what they're talking about when they're like a Ruby, like a Jade Hooper. She's like, I'm Ruby, man. Oh my gosh. She's just doing her crazy stuff like she used to do on whatever that, before Facebook Lives, there was that, Periscope. She'd do those Periscopes. I don't know if you guys watch those, but I was like, this is funny. We watch those Periscopes, but just to watch the vision unfold and to see that, oh my gosh, they did it and they did it. And that's why they highlight so many stories at conference. But you have to get involved. So Joel and myself and Tay Young, every single Tuesday, Thursday morning, we go live and we do personal development stuff. So we actually have an It Works personal development page, so a Facebook page. So if you're not part of that yet, just go find it and we can get you plugged in. And there's like probably 200 Zooms now on every topic you can imagine. So you could just go look back through the files and the archives and and use some of those. They're really, really good. But that's going to build you up because it's going to get you thinking like you've never thought before. We have to unlearn things and learn new things. And that's where the wisdom is going to come in and the imagination is going to come in. Right now, we're actually been going through this book. If you guys haven't read this yet, really, really good. It talks about clarity, generating energy, raising necessity, and then some other, it's like 6 habits basically. So plan, do, review. So when you have your vision, you want to have a plan, right? And you want to celebrate along the way as you're working towards your vision. And like we have a vision to create 100 6-figure earners. That's like a personal vision that I have that I'm excited. And then once we have 100, it'll be like, well, now let's have 1,000, right? But right now we're locked in, laser focused. Like I'm constantly looking and sorting through the team to say, okay, this person's 6 figures, this person's 6 figures, this person said it, they're believing for it, they're on the list, and that's who we're kind of tracking. And so we have what we call our 1% group. And there's about 100 people in our 1% group, and it's a monthly thing. So it's like a monthly, you have to do your steps to be included in the 1% group to be in it the next month. And in our 1% group, we do a Zoom every Sunday night, and then we have a game plan sheet. So corporate years ago put out like a game plan booklet, and in that booklet, it might still be in the back office, but in that there's like a game plan sheet, and all it says is, how many people did you enroll last week? How much did your GV go up last week? How many people did you help on your team enroll last week? So it's just a screenshot really of what were your results from last Sunday to this Sunday. And then we set goals from week to week. So have a plan, do your plan. And then every Sunday, or for you, it might be Monday, Tuesday. I recommend weekly, just review your plan. Is it working? If you go 2 or 3 weeks and you haven't enrolled anybody, then your plan probably needs to be adjusted, right? Plan, do, review, and that'll get you on track. And Cammie said years ago, because people are like, well, I'm part-time, I have this, so how should I do my business? Well, if you only have 3 hours a day. Oh, I think we got somebody down here. If you have like 3 hours a day, spend an hour. Your first hour should be on your personal business, signing up customers and distributors personally, right? Because you're always leading by example. Your second hour should be helping your team sign customers and distributors, 3-way chats, 3-way calls, Facebook, parties, whatever you're doing, training, that sort of thing. And then you have to get in your personal development too, because that's the part that's going to help you grow. So that is all so necessary. And how do you connect vision with action? It's really just the game plan, and then understanding with where you want to go, like getting your rhythm down of what works for you. Like I remember we had a girl back in November. She's the one that just recently went double, and her dad said, hey, she'd sign like 20 people up that month. And he said, have you ever thought about just setting a goal to sign someone every day? And she was like, no, but I'm going to. And so she started doing enough activity on a daily basis where she would sign at least one person a day. And then she's like, oh, I could up that. I could put a little more energy, a little more time into that. And I know for the last 4 months, she's signed at least between customers and distributors, 40 people each of the last 4 months. And that's why she's a double, making $8,600 a month. And she was very green when we met her. She showed up to our house the first time with like 6 notebooks, one for all these different. I'm like, oh my gosh, what do we have going on here? But in closing, I just want you guys to understand that you're going to figure this out. And the key is just to continue to show up, continue to get on these Zooms, continue to go to events. I love now that you can, from the comfort of your home, you can watch stuff for like $19, and you can bring people over and just sit and take notes and watch, because that's how you're going to sharpen your saw. That's how you're going to get better in all the different areas that it takes to really be successful, and it works. So just want to say thank you guys for being on here. Thanks for having me on here. And I know it went a little bit late today, so you guys are the real troopers. We still almost have 200 people on here, so that's awesome. And definitely let me know. You can always reach out. My wife always has like 5,000 unread Facebook messages, but I actually read all mine. I go through them and read them all, no matter how long it takes. So if something really stuck out to you, just reach out for sure. And give it back to you, Lauren. Thanks for doing this.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much for sharing. Tamara, I know you had a call to action, so if you want to drop that in the chat for anyone who wants to do it, absolutely put it there so we can let people get into bed. You guys are the best. Kelsey, if you'll get this recording for us, we really appreciate it, and you can share it with your downlines and your teams. And you guys, we can't wait to see where you're at in 3 months, 6 months, a year, and 10 years from now, and from the visions that you're casting starting in this moment. Have a great night, and we'll see you later. Thanks again, y'all.